Welcome to World Card Making Day. This is Tess Rollins, and I have been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 21.5 years. I'm located in the United States in the Washington Metro DC area. So I wanted to let you know today we're going to be using the suite called Splendid Day. And in that suite, as you can see these lovely colors, it includes a stamp set or a bundle. So it has some dies, and then some trinkets, some ribbon, and then some designer series paper. The designer series paper has a little bit of a metallic feel, which you will see when I show you the projects. So the projects that I'm going to be making today they're older projects that I have been doing for years. I just switch out some of the products that I've been using. So the one on the left is a note card holder, which holds 4 note cards and coordinating envelopes, and then a pull-out punch. Both can be used as gifts, so let's get started. So we're going to start with the pull-out pouch, and when you pull this ribbon up, you can see whatever gift you put inside will go and fit nicely. So here I have individual tea bags, and you can use several different things to put gifts in there. Because there's a panel that you can adhere something to or write a note, you can also include a gift card. I've included jewelry before, and just about any like seed packets, anything that would fit in this pouch. And what you'll find is once you make this pouch right here, sometimes what you can do is just take that, put it in your purse, throw it in your glove compartment in your car, and when you're out shopping, you can find out what fits in it. So to do this, it's a very simple and quick process. I'm going to bring in some cardstock so that you can see how this pouch is made, and then you can embellish it however you want using whatever is in your craft studio. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut the cardstock in half so that our dimensions are 5.5 by 8.5. So I'm going to cut that. And so you can see you're going to get 2 pouches from 1 sheet of cardstock. And then I'm going to score at 2¼ inches. And then I'm going to turn it 180 degrees. And from the other end, I'm also going to score 2¼ inches. Now, because this is something that you're going to open or you're going to put something inside, you're going to want to use tear and tape as your adhesive. Before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 pieces of designer series paper for the front and the back. So this, when it's folded, let me bring this. When this is folded, the width of this is 4 inches. So my designer series paper is actually going to be 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. So first I'm going to cut that. 5 1/4. So I've got my 2 pieces. Of course, I will save that little piece of designer series paper, and then I'm going to trim this down to 3 3/4. All right. So now we've got our pieces, and we can actually start to assemble our little pouch. So I'm going to put these 2 pieces aside for just a moment and watch you fold this. So we're going to fold with my bone folder. I'm going to fold on the score lines. And then I'm going to grab some tear and tape, again, because this is stronger adhesive. I'm going to grab this. And I'm going to adhere it to the inside flap, right on that seam. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and kind of burnish that a little bit. All right, so there's the base of that. Now, we don't have any handheld punches. However, I wanted to show you for that you will have to punch some kind of hole. So any kind of hole punch that you might have in your office or in your craft studio, that will work. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking my DSP, I'm kind of centering it, making sure that I've got a little bit of a border. And then I'm going to open one pouch, and I'm going to just take any hole punch that I have here on my desk, and I'm going to punch both through both. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So this is already punched. That's going to give me a guide. Again, I'm going to center this pretty close and hold that. And I'm going to use that as a guide as to where to punch. Okay, so now I've got holes on both sides. And then I can take this DSP, and again, I can use that already punched hole as my guide, and everything will line up. So that's a nice little tip when you are doing that. And I'm going to find some, either you can use dimensionals, you can use whatever adhesive. If you like Seal Plus, that would work as well. I'm going to use dimensionals just because I want a little bit of a pop-up here. So let me pull some dimensionals off. And I usually use about 5 dimensionals. I always put one in the middle, one in each corner and one in the middle so that it doesn't sag in the middle. And let's do that super quick. And then on the other one as well. And then we're just going to line them up. And basically your cover will be done. And these are great to make ahead of time so that you can have a basket of them. A lot of times during the winter time, especially during the holidays, I will make a bunch of them and stuff them with hot chocolate packets. And you know, I might even where the ribbon and the bow are, I might even tuck in a little candy cane at that point as well. So I'm just going to line this up back the way I had it earlier so that the holes line up, because that's where our ribbon's going to go through. And then I will show you how I feed that ribbon. So as you can see, this DSP is a bit shiny, which is kind of cool. And then it's got a flat color on the other side. So both sides are really cool to use. So this is your cover. And this I can see the little seam on the back, so I'm going to use this as the front so it's a little bit cleaner. Then I'm going to take our ribbon, the coordinating ribbon for this suite, and I'm going to put it down on my grid paper, and I'm going to go 1.5 so that I know about how much ribbon we've got here. And I'm going to snip that off. Grab my snips. Okay, so the way that this goes inside is you've got your ribbon and you meet the ends, and then you're going to kind of pinch it so that it kind of folds right there at the end. And then you're going to take the ribbon and you're going to put it on the inside and kind of center it, and you're going to hold that kind of in place so it's not loose. And this is where a little bit of coordination goes so that you don't pull the rhythm through. You're going to take from the inside, you're going to feed the ribbon through the hole and pull it out the front. So let me do that real quick. Just like that. Flip it over, do the same thing with the other end of the ribbon. So you're going to feed it through the hole and then pull it through. Okay? And what that's going to do, that ribbon's actually going to hold it in place. So then I'm going to grab, just so that you can get the idea as I put this together, I'm going to go ahead and cut a panel that's 3 3/4. I'm sorry, 3 3/4. 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. and this is going to be your panel on the inside. Now, when I've done things like the hot chocolate packages or a packet of seeds or a sachet, anything that's already a product that I could put in there, sometimes I don't worry about this piece. Usually I'll put this piece on is like if I was doing the tea bags, just like I did here, and these are adhered with mini glue dots. Or if I was doing something like a pair of earrings that were flat or a necklace that's that come on a piece of cardboard, then I would adhere them to this and maybe write a nice little note. You of course can stamp this and write a note. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck that in, and the ribbon that's on the bottom is actually what holds it. So if you can see that ribbon right inside, that's actually what holds it in place. And then you're going to take your ribbon and you're going to knot it right at the top. So you're just going to, it's just a loop. And feed that through. And then you're going to knot it at the top. You can always take some twine and feed it through here and make another tag that you can put on the front. You can, of course, you can make a bow like I did on the other one and just tie these just so to make it a little bit more decorative. But we'll do that real quick just to show you. And then you can kind of fix your bow. You can snip those off, but at least that's the base of what your pull card will be. And then you can decide if you want to put a gift card in it. And then on the outside, the only thing, I'll bring back the other one. So on the outside, the only thing I did was I took some of our dies that coordinated with the stamp set and placed them in there. And then again, we've got our little T. So that is project 1. So I hope that you're going to make a bunch of those and have a bunch of gifts going to your family and friends. So the next thing I'm going to do is a note card holder. So I'm going to untie this to let you see what's inside. There are 4 note cards and coordinating envelopes. And usually what I like to do is I try to make a couple in 2 different orientations. So I did a vertical card here with just simple stamping, stamps, inks, and paper, and a little bit of the ribbon that I tied. And then on this side, this would be more of a casual crafter or maybe close to an avid crafter, although an avid crafter would probably put a bunch more stuff on it, but we'll say casual crafter for this one. So a little bit of simple stamping. We just added some of the dies. So you make a couple of those, and then I'm going to put these cards aside, make a couple of those cards, and then I took the note cards and used the DSP, as you can see, to decorate the flaps. And I may go back later on and stamp the front, but at least the flaps are nice and decorated and coordinate using the DSP that's in the suite. So what I'm going to do, all I did with here was I took some seal. So I took some of our Stampin' Seal. The width of the strip that I used was a scrap. It was about 2 inches wide, and then the length of the envelope. And I put some seal on the flaps and put the DSP on top, and then I just took my snips. There was just a little bit around the edge, and I just cut that off. And then you've got some nice decorative coordinating envelopes. So what I'm going to show you actually is not the stamping, but how to make the gift card holder. So to do that, let me bring in my cutter and another piece of DSP again. I'm sorry, cardstock. So I'm going to bring my cutter in. I'm going to bring in a piece of cardstock, and this is Calypso Coral, just so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm actually using my scoring blade, and these are the measurements in inches. So 4 1/4, turn it 90 degrees, and then score at 5 1/2. And then you're going to take your cardstock and your bone folder, and you're going to crease on the lines both forward and backwards so that you get a good fold. You want a good crisp fold because this is going to be folded into the note card holder. So in both directions, I'm going horizontal. Make sure that it folds smoothly back and forth. And then I'm going to score vertically, again in both directions. Make sure you've got really crisp fold lines. Okay, now that I've done that in both directions, now similar to if when you were making a paper airplane, you're going to bring the corner down to the center fold vertically. Okay, and then I like to turn it. Once I do that, I like to turn it up so that it's just a little bit easier to get those matched really well. And then again, I'm going to fold them and take the bone folder so that there's good crisp folds in both directions. So these are pretty simple. It's one piece of cardstock. And then once you have those folded in both directions and nice crisp folds, you're actually going to fold that up. That's what makes your pocket. This is the actual inside of your note card holder. And then you're going to fold it as a quarter, and it's going to be a little puffy, so you're going to want to take your bone folder again and really burnish those well so that it's easier to close. So the next part is I'm going to, before I start securing everything, I'm actually going to cut another piece of ribbon. Same thing as we did for the first one. I'm going to do 1.5 of the length of my grid paper and snip that. And that's actually going to go on the inside. And I like to have just a little bit on one end and most of it on the other. But you can slide that around. So one reason I like to do that is when I close it, I want to wrap it around and then close it. But some people like to just have it centered. So it's really up to you how you would like to do it. And have it centered, have it closed, and then you tie it. So it's really a preference. So to keep this secured down, I'm going to bring in the finished one that I have just to show you the inside. So to keep this secured down, I have some of our brads. So we have white and black mini brads in the back of the annual catalog. And what I do there is they come in circles and they come in squares as far as the head of the brad. So I just take my take your pick tool. I change the head to the piercing tool. I pierce 2 holes at the very top, and I pierce them all the way through. And I'm going to show you on this finished one. When I open them, I open the brads so that they are parallel, so that they're parallel to the center fold. And then that way I could take the DSP and I can hide those brads with the DSP. So that part's pretty simple. It houses, it keeps this flat and it keeps it secure so you can house the note cards in it. So again, it's pretty simple. You're going to pierce the holes all the way through this part of the cardstock, and then on the outside you'll put the brads in, and then you can either stamp the inside or you can leave the inside blank, and then you would take a piece of DSP to cover the back and the front. So let me bring this in. The size of the DSP is just like it would be for a normal card size. So this is actually 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this inside panel, the cover of the front and back covers with the DSP are 4 by 5 1/4. And then again, just like I did on the pouch card, I have just kept it very simple so that the DSP is what's showcased, and then I just put a few of the die cuts on the front. I grab the cards and the envelopes once again to tuck them in. And just tuck them in there. And again, simple. You can do all simple stamping, make it simple. You can make it more difficult, or as far as an avid. Now, the only thing you have to think about is if you are an avid stamper and you like to put a lot of embellishments and stack a lot of layers, that you may end up having to put less cards in your holder because it gets to be a bit bulky. And then you're just going to tie bow, and then you have two of the gifts that are done. And let me bring that stamp set in one more time so that you can see that it's Splendid Thoughts. And there you go. So I hope that you are going to try to create these projects using the products that you have already in your craft studio. Have a happy World Card Making Day. Being a first-generation Filipino-American, October we mark Filipino-American History Month, where we enjoy our food, our culture, the arts, and being creative. Another fun fact is that we have the longest Christmas season, which starts on September 1st and runs through January 6th, where it is traditional for us to have these Christmas lanterns called paroles. They come in many different colors, but it is a symbol that we have in our homes. I invite you, if you have the chance, to visit the Philippines, because we are a culture of being humble, being friendly, and loving life. Mabuhay!